There comes a point in life when you have to stop waiting for others to notice you, waiting for them to acknowledge your efforts, waiting for their approval to confirm the gifts you already possess. Some of us are not tired because we are doing too much. We are tired because we have been looking in the wrong direction. We have been searching for our worth in people who don't even recognize their own. We have been measuring success by standards that were never meant to define us. But what if I told you there's a way to break free? A way to reclaim your power and finally start living a life that is true to who you are. This isn't just about self-improvement. It's about self-liberation. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has stood the test of time, teaches us that our true worth doesn't come from the applause of others, but from aligning our actions with our values. Today, we will dive deep into how we can apply Stoic principles to stop chasing external validation and start nurturing our inner strength. If these words resonate with you, if you're tired of playing roles that don't fit, if you're exhausted from wearing masks that hide your true self, then stay with me. Don't skip a single moment of this video. Every second has been carefully crafted to help you see a clearer, stronger version of yourself. And if you appreciate what we're doing here, consider subscribing. It's a free, simple way to ensure these life-changing conversations continue. Now, let's begin this journey together toward a place where you no longer seek approval, but start approving of yourself. It's easy to fall into the trap, isn't it? Waiting for that nod of approval, that pat on the back, that simple, well done from someone else, as if their validation is the final stamp on your accomplishments. It almost feels like we are programmed to seek approval before we allow ourselves to appreciate our own efforts. But why? Why is this need so deeply ingrained in us? From a Stoic perspective, the answer becomes clear. Seeking external approval is a distraction from what truly matters: your inner growth, your personal virtue, your own definition of success. The great Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, believed that true peace comes from within, not from the recognition of others, not from the fleeting praise of the world. They taught that life is not about what happens to us, but how we respond. And in that lesson lies something powerful. The only validation that truly matters is the one you give yourself. Every time you wait for someone else's permission to move forward, you're handing over your power. Every time you hesitate waiting for someone to approve your choices, you are telling yourself that their opinion matters more than your own wisdom. But let me ask you, should someone else's perception of you hold more weight than your own understanding of yourself? If your self-worth is tied to external validation, then it's like building your house on shifting sand, unstable, uncertain, and at the slightest change in the wind, everything can come crashing down. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to build our foundation on something solid: our reason, our values, our choices. By focusing on what's within our control, our thoughts, our responses, our actions, we develop a sense of self that is resilient, a self that doesn't crumble under the weight of others' opinions. So, how do we break free from this cycle? It starts with one simple yet profound realization: your approval is enough. Begin each day by affirming your own worth. Reflect on your actions. What did you do today that aligned with your values? What steps did you take, no matter how small, toward becoming the person you want to be? Celebrate those victories. even if no one is watching, even if no one acknowledges them. Because your progress is not defined by how many people see it. Think about the freedom that comes from detaching yourself from the need for external validation. Imagine the energy you could reclaim if you weren't constantly checking for approval, whether from people in your life or from likes and comments on social media. That energy could be redirected towards something far more valuable: your growth, your purpose, your own journey toward fulfillment. Stoicism does not teach us to be indifferent to the world. It teaches us to be indifferent to what doesn't matter. It encourages us to turn inward, to cultivate an inner fortress so strong that the opinions of others cannot easily shake it. This is not about isolation. It is about strength. It is about engaging with the world in a way that is authentic, not desperate for validation. When you embrace this mindset, you take back control of your life. You stop acting for applause. You start acting for the sake of the action itself. And when recognition does come, it becomes a bonus, not a necessity. Falling into the trap of external validation is something we have all experienced. It's like standing on a stage, performing for an invisible audience, hoping for their approval. But the irony? The more we seek validation, the less fulfilled we feel. Why do we give so much power to the opinions of others? Why do we let their words dictate our happiness? The ancient Stoics had a clear answer. The only thing truly worth valuing is virtue, and virtue is not something you pursue for recognition. It is something you pursue because it is right. Seneca warned of the dangers of relying on others' praise. He argued that when your happiness depends on approval, you are no longer in control of your own well-being. And isn't that true? How many times have you changed your plans because you worried about what others would think? How often have you taken on something you didn't even care about, just for the recognition? If you live for others' approval, you are not truly living. You are existing according to someone else's script. And that will always lead to disappointment. This is even more dangerous in today's digital world. Social media has turned validation into a currency, a never-ending cycle of likes, shares, and comments that make us feel temporarily important until they disappear. But Stoicism reminds us to question this. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest leaders, reminded himself daily to ignore the applause of others, to focus not on recognition, but on his own integrity. Because the truth is, no amount of external validation can replace the deep, lasting satisfaction of knowing you lived according to your own values. So, how do you free yourself from the chains of approval? You turn inward. You focus on self-reflection. You build a life that you respect, whether or not anyone else sees it. Not everyone will understand or agree with your choices. And that's okay. Because your life is not meant to be lived for them. Your voice matters. Your dreams are valid. Your self-approval is enough. So start today. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Start living by your own rules. And in doing so, you will find something far more valuable than external validation. You will find yourself. Building your self-esteem doesn't just make you feel more confident. It also makes you more resilient. It shields you from the fear of criticism and the sting of rejection. It allows you to stay steady, even when external approval wavers. But here's the real challenge. It's one thing to know you should focus on yourself. It's another thing entirely to actually do it. Making this shift can feel overwhelming at first. It can seem like stepping into the unknown. But with the right approach, It's not only manageable, it's transformative. Think of it like turning away from a mirror that reflects how the world sees you, and instead looking through a window, one that reveals the vast landscape of your own potential. How do you begin? Step 1. Set clear personal goals. Not the goals that society, your family, or your peers expect from you, but the ones that truly align with your values and aspirations. Sit down and ask yourself, what do I want for my career, for my relationships, for my health, for my personal growth? Stoicism teaches us to act with purpose and intention. That begins with knowing exactly what you're aiming for. Write your goals down, make them specific, and remember, these goals are for you and you alone, not to impress, not to seek approval, but to build a life that is truly yours. Step 2. Cultivate self-awareness. This is a core tenet of Stoic philosophy. Start by observing your thoughts throughout the day. How many of your decisions are influenced by others? Are you making choices because they truly align with your values, or because they seem like the right choice in the eyes of those around you? Journaling can be a powerful tool here. Write down your thoughts and reactions. Over time, you'll start to see patterns that will reveal what truly motivates you. And once you recognize them, you can start making choices that reflect your authentic self. Step 3. Take action. Stoicism isn't just about thinking, it's about doing. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the importance of action over words. So, start small. Pick one area of your life to improve, one that truly matters to you. If it's your health, commit to a daily walk. If it's your knowledge, read a book each month. The key here isn't to make grand, sweeping changes overnight. It's about consistency. Because real transformation doesn't happen all at once. It happens in the small daily choices you make. Step 4. Learn to say no. This might be one of the hardest steps because it means setting boundaries. Stoicism teaches us that our time and energy are limited resources. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your values, you're taking away from something that does. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to pleasing others. But each time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what truly matters. Step 5. Focus only on what you can control. One of the biggest energy drains in life, worrying about things you have no control over. A simple but powerful Stoic practice is to ask yourself, is this within my power? If the answer is no, let it go. Redirect your focus to what you can influence. Your effort, your attitude, your preparation. Over time, this mindset shift will build mental resilience. You'll stop being tossed around by the unpredictable opinions of others and stay centered on your own path. The power of the mirror. Imagine starting each day standing in front of a mirror, not just to check your appearance, but to truly see yourself. This mirror isn't just glass, it's a portal. One that doesn't reflect how others see you, but how you see yourself. Every morning, as you look into it, a silent question lingers. Am I living for them, or am I living for me? This isn't about vanity, it's about visibility. Your own visibility to yourself. We often use mirrors to adjust how we look for the world, but what if we use them as tools to align with our inner world? The Stoics, like Epictetus, believe that the reflection we should be most concerned with is not the one that shows our external self, but the one that reveals whether our actions align with our principles. When you look in that mirror, you don't just see who you are, you see who you could become. It shows you where you're strong, and where you still need to grow. It doesn't sugarcoat, it doesn't distort, it simply reveals what's there, urging you to confront your true self, imperfections and all, reclaiming your power. Sometimes, in the chaos of everyday life, it's easy to forget that we are the authors of our own stories. We slip into the role of passive characters, reacting to what happens instead of shaping our own destiny. But here's a truth you must never forget. You have the ultimate power to empower yourself, no matter where you are right now, no matter your circumstances. It's about picking up the pen and writing your own narrative. How do you take control? 1. Acknowledge where you are. Without judgment, acceptance is a key Stoic practice. See things as they are, not worse than they are. This isn't about resignation, it's about clarity. 2. Focus on what's within your control, your attitude, your effort, the people you surround yourself with, the boundaries you set. These are the things that define your power. 3. Define your core values. What do you stand for? Honesty, courage, perseverance. Align your daily actions with these values. Because when your actions reflect your principles, your life gains purpose and meaning. 4. Take small, consistent steps toward your goals. The Stoics believed in progress through daily practice. Excellence isn't an act, it's a habit. Start with small, manageable changes, because lasting transformation comes from steady, intentional effort. 5. Reflect on your progress. Self-reflection is a tool for growth, not to judge yourself, but to see how far you've come. 6. Prepare for setbacks. They will happen. But a Stoic doesn't see setbacks as failures. They see them as lessons. Every obstacle is a chance to practice resilience. 7. Protect your mind from negativity. Be selective about what influences you. Limit time on social media. Avoid toxic conversations. Fill your life with people and ideas that uplift you. The only approval you need. As we come to the end of this journey into Stoic wisdom, let this be your final takeaway. The only approval you ever need is your own. Because when you stop waiting for permission, you start truly living. Thank you for being here, for seeking wisdom, for walking this path towards self-mastery. And if this message resonated with you, stay connected. Keep learning, keep growing, because this journey, it's only just beginning.